if you bear with me, I'm just going to grab the YouTube link so I can just post it up in our team chat. So bear with me for a second. Riveting. This is riveting viewing for everybody. All right. Watch. Okay. Watch here. Okay. All right. Is that your phone or my phone? I don't know. It could be me. Okay, so this is not very this is just very informal. I mean, I'm going to be up for a couple of hours. I don't know. How long before you're on the clock here, Pete?
I think I'm after you. So I think it goes Lauren, then another guy, and then you, and then G, and then me.
G's after me. So hang on. I've got the board here.
So I'm after
oh, yeah. Yeah, you're 10. Yeah. Okay. You're picking 10. Yeah. So hopefully it gets to you before you hit the sack tonight. I'm not sure what time you were planning on going to sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Lauren will get up sometime fairly shortly. So I think, this is pretty cruisy. This is this your first Scott Fishbowl, Pete, or did you play last year?
Yeah, definitely. I was in the satellite for the last 2, maybe. Or maybe
nice.
just last year. And this was the first time.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, look, this is pretty cruisy. I was trying to think, I think it might be 6 or 7. So we've been in a fair number.
Well, I think I remember you talking about what you did for the Podathon, and I think you were back to number 6. So I assume you were in that one.
Yeah. Yes, and I can't even remember what we've done at various points in time. It's all a blur. And certainly my last couple of Scott Fish Bowls have been very bad. I've done very, very badly. But my best result, and I think G has equaled this. I think my best result is I was going to say a semi-final. Talking finals in Scott Fish is a little bit nonsensical because there's weeks upon weeks of finals. But basically the second last week. I've gotten to the second last week. And, you've got to get down to the final, I don't know what the last week is, 12, the final 12. I didn't quite crack it for the final 12. And then obviously in that last week, the top scorer wins. So it's pretty cutthroat right to the end. There's certainly lots of weeks where it's 50, the bottom X number of people will drop out. So the first finals week is not too bad. And then it starts to get 50% drop off. And it thins pretty quickly. So it can be tricky at the top end. But anyway, I thought it might just be interesting just to look at the board. Seeing as I say, it is pretty crazy because we have 6 people from Melbourne. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 people from Melbourne. So, my experience in the past. Hey, Chris. My experience in the past has been as an Aussie, being one of the only Aussies in the league and being really worried that I'm going to hold people up overnight. But because we've got 6 Aussies literally right across the world, I think it's a bit cruisier. We're just kind of ticking along here, and I don't think anyone's too stressed about it, which is good.
Yeah, no. And I think we've got a block as well, so the 4 of us can pick together. So there are other Aussies in the 12, but 4 in a row is good.
Yeah.
Whereas if there are
absolutely
1, 3, 5, 8, 12, that could get missing.
Yes. My connection's just gone a bit flaky here. Just hang on a second. Ooh, what's going on? I've lost my draft board. Hang on.
I can still see it.
Bear with me.
Oh,
can
no,
you?
no, it just went then.
All right. And I've still got internet. I'm still actually on, so that's
Yeah.
good. Chris, yeah, good. Good to meet you, mate. What are you, the coach or the commish? In the coach and commish moniker. That was my first question.
I think he's doing it in chat. I can't see the original chat, but I think they introduced both of it themselves.
Oh, really? Okay. You're the
Yeah.
coach. Okay, cool. And is your co-host in another division, Chris?
No, I thought they were sort of sharing the team.
Oh, sharing the. Yep. Okay. Okay.
They actually asked, I think in one of the chats, he asked for some direction on making their podcast getting more airplay and listeners. So do you have any tips on that?
Okay. Oh, you're doing it together, Chris. Cool. Well, no. Not really. I wish I knew the magic formula, but I really don't. Our pod is a pretty small affair, I would say. But you'd be very welcome to come on with us sometime, Chris, if you want. That might be fun. To chat about whatever you like, especially if you're a coach. So I'd be very interested to get your take on things from a coaching perspective, and also just what you actually coach. Hang on, my co-host is texting me, probably wanting to insult me about something. Wrong email. What? Gee, did you want? Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can get my co-host in here.
Do you mind if I talk about stuff?
Please. Yeah, please.
I'm listening to the Athletic football podcast has just put out a 6-session podcast on Andrew Luck by one of the major writers in the Indianapolis area. And I don't know the backstory of him, but like he sounds. I was really shattered at his booing and the retirement, but like just to hear how much he loved getting hit, and then all his coaches were like, "Stop getting hit! Like dive, protect yourself. We're going to plan for you to be protected." And he'd just go out and go, "No, I want to lead this team by getting smashed." And then the team, I don't think. Well, I'd always thought that the team just failed to protect him and didn't even try, but it sounds like they drafted lots of O-linemen and they just misdrafted. Like they just drafted the wrong people, and they got running backs who were useless, and like they could have done more, but I thought they'd just completely not done anything to assist him. But yeah, some of it was like he really liked getting hit. But yeah, it's quite a sad story. Just when he got really hurt. But also, he sounds like a really nice person. Like he really liked the opposition. He liked the umpires. It's a really good listen. I think they're about 50 minutes each, and there's 6 of them, and it's all uploaded at the moment.
Lovely. Okay.
Are you reading it? Are you listening to it as well, Chris? Yeah.
Sounds like he is. Yeah. Gee, how you doing? That microphone. You know that little silver thing? You plug that in. Anyway, he's toddling off to find something. Anyway, Oh, cool. Great recommendation. Yeah, Chris, we would love to have you on sometime for sure. My co-host is coming on in a minute and we can organize something. So starting with you, Chris, because you had the number one pick, I thought it might be just interesting to just go through the draft board because we're sort of we're waiting on Lauren to wake up. Yay! How you going?
No, I don't know why the camera it's got a mic built in, but it's not working. I don't know why. Since we bought the new screen, so
okay.
I don't know why the screen's got anything to do with the microphone and the camera, but there you go. I'm not an IT guy.
Clearly.
So if you're talking football, mate, on the chat we're talking Life of Brian, and we're doing clips from the Life of Brian. Far better than talking fantasy football.
Yeah.
You know what I had to do? The minute you posted that, I went onto YouTube to watch it. Not the Life of Brian, that scene, the Sermon on the Mount.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny.
We were talking about that during the podathon, weren't we, before we went on? Just about what was it, that the new Thor movie?
Yeah.
And they said it's got a bit of like the Monty Python feel about it. And I don't think anybody else can do Monty Python except Monty Python.
Well, yeah, go Pete. Have you seen the new Thor movie?
No, I haven't. But I think some people's understanding of Monty Python might be any humor that's not maybe even American. Like, I think Monty Python has that edge of bluntness and like not making sense and strange. And I think Hemsworth does that as well. Like, not like Monty Python, but just taking the Mickey out of himself and being silly. And
he's an underrated comic.
I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment about the Thor because I'm just not into that genre of movie.
But you'd have to say the Thor movie will age very differently to Life of Brian.
Probably just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
My dad was in London when they were doing all their sketches, and he would get on the London Tube, and everybody was doing the funny walk skit. Like everybody was just complete strangers were like joking with each other about all these skits.
And the thing I like about Monty Python is the fact is you don't have to be crude with your humor to be funny.
No.
Like I think a lot of humor today is crude to a point, and almost not crude, but also obvious.
Yes. Yeah.
Where Monty Python, they're not trying to be obvious.
Take care, Chris.
Funny. So
yeah.
So what did Chris just say? Did he say who the hell is that lucky strike dude with that bad quarterback he picked up in the third round?
Well, I was just about to talk about Chris's draft because he had the 101. So hang on, let me pull up your team, Chris. So, or yours and your co-host. So you had the 101. Obviously chalk with Josh Allen. I think that was the pick. And then Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift is a pretty nice pairing. DeAndre Swift at the 312 seems like a pretty value pick, honestly. And having the 4 because of the 3-round reversal, having the 312 and the 401. Yeah. So DeAndre Swift and then following that with CD Lamb is pretty solid. It's a good start. Honestly, I think there's very few Ben Hauer. There's very few teams that I don't think have started well. Sorry,
and one of those would be pick number 9.
I got it.
No, your team looks fine, G.
I'm just
a question about.
I was actually concerned about like the quarter. I woke up this morning with an hour left to pick, and I apologise to everybody playing in our division.
No,
but I'm not
doesn't-
sleeping on the couch this year.
Yeah.
So, and I had like an hour and a bit to go, and I was like, it's like before 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just not thinking correctly, and I'm looking at all the quarterbacks, and I'm going, there's still a few there, but there's so many that I don't want.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't care what I just don't. Why do I want to take a pick on some of the guys that are left in a spot that I could get somebody else? And then I go and do that anyway. But, you know, I've been hurt before by waiting too long on my second quarterback in Scott Fish. And it's just, it's not that it's going to, but it can bite you on the ass. You need a lot of things to go right that you could start with one QB. You got to have a pretty good rest of your squad, having a good year.
I agree.
You know, so, and I've never understood the value. I hear a lot of podcasts talk about value. Like, is a value like, okay, if he's like, 3 rounds after he's meant to go, well, but I'm not going to take a guy in the 5th, but I'll take him in the 6th. That doesn't make any sense, because you're not going to get the fucking bloke anyway. Because if you don't take him now, he's not coming back to you. More than likely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to take him. I'll wait for somebody else with value. But I've never understood that logic.
And that's why I regretted Waller for a second. But then I was like, I really wanted a tight end early. I wanted the top 4, one of the top 4, and Waller was probably not going to get back. Like
you get all the value that comes with the tight end position in this format. That's fine,
I haven't done the 3-round reversal before, and it's
it sucks.
Like it's great on the 3rd round, but like on the 4th, it's terrible because you're used to leading everybody in on the 3rd and getting the first 4th, and now you're like, oh, I'm the last 4th.
If there's one bit of advice,
I got bit last year with it. It just with what was left. That like especially at running back, it looks like there's a stack more this year at running back at that position than there was last year. I think I think Miles Gaskin was about with everything that people thought he might be.
Right.
It's just that's what I was left with. But this year it's been crazy now, at least in our league anyway, with the quarterback. And I've read a few others where I think like 14 of the first 18 picks, I think that was right, were quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was really.
I can show you the board in a second. If there's one bit of advice that I think
the Rodgers pick is just like, oh my god, that shocked me, to be honest, Pete.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know what he's going to. I don't know what he's going to be like with, and let's face it, without Adams. Like,
but he could throw to Andrew.
And I know he's been without Adams. Granted,
no, he could throw to Aaron Jones. Like,
he's going to throw him all day.
And
he's going to have more receptions than anybody else in that team.
Yeah, because they can use AJ Dillon as well. You see.
God, I hope so. God,
yeah,
I hope
will.
So. Not just in this league, but in other leagues, I have a stack of AJ Dillon. I'm just waiting for the chance for him to, just let him run.
Oh yeah.
Would my board look better if it was Russell Wilson first and then Rodgers in the second, or do you just?
Well, I'm really actually quite pissed because I had the 204 pick and I was going to take Russell Wilson. So
yeah,
he sniped him.
It's QB 7 and 8, Pete. So it doesn't actually make any difference.
No.
Does it?
I think from the possibility of what Russell Wilson could be this year, yes, it does. I'd take Russell Wilson in every time I had the opportunity before I took Aaron Rodgers this year.
Well, it doesn't matter because he got both.
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying that because people.
I know what you're saying.
I'm saying that if I'm in a draft and I'm going to take a quarterback and Russell Wilson there, or I got Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to take Russell Wilson based on what he's got to throw to and what he might be allowed to do.
Yeah, that's fair. And Darren Waller, there seems to be quite a bit of Darren Waller. Well, no, not quite a bit. A little bit of Darren Waller hate around. I don't really understand it.
Well, because last year was like he didn't do very well, and now they've added one of the best wide receivers in the world. But like that doesn't mean. I think he was injured, wasn't he? Or yeah, he was injured for half the year. So
yeah. So I don't sort of count it. But if there's one thing
I'm not an advocate either of the fact that they put on someone so it detracts from somebody else.
No, me either. No. If anything, it might actually create better opportunities for Waller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who says okay he's going to get less catches? But who's to say that those catches aren't more valuable?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's all speculation. We have to see the offense running, don't we?
Yes.
Now, something I was going to say, and G, I think you'll back me up, is don't sweat the ADP. This is the one thing that I reckon we've found through previous SFBs is don't sweat the ADP. If you're in a round and you want to pick a guy and you're thinking, the ADP is a little bit not quite right, maybe I'll get him in the next round, then you'll lose him.
Yep.
Like you should just pick your guys, shouldn't you, G?
Oh, mate, I've always picked my guy because you get one pick every, what is it? One every 23? Is that how it works out? Except on the turn, obviously, but on the long ones, but more than the shorter turns, depending on where you're picking.
Yeah, it can be two
on average, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't want to. This is I don't want to. That's what I was saying before. I don't want to take him in the fifth, but I'd take him in the sixth. But he's not going to get back to you in the sixth.
No,
so just take him in the fifth if that's who you want.
Yeah,
take him in the fifth. Mate, you got to enjoy the people on your team as well.
Oh yeah, you do absolutely.
And looking at a lot of people who are ahead of us, that like the people who did the live draft, I think that pick 10 to 20 makes your team. Like,
there's no doubt.
I haven't seen many really bad teams 1 to 10, but yeah,
no. And you'll see the value drop off the board.
Yeah.
Like after we get through 10 rounds, it does start getting quite a bit thinner. Obviously, you know,
and
as you'd expect.
I looked at a couple of ones from last year, and the 10 to 20 were hideous. Like some of the players selected 10 to 20 were like, those are awful players. Like they did nothing all year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. This is Phoenix Rocket, and he is picking out of the 2 slot. Started with Justin Herbert, which is nice. Not Mahomes, interestingly. But, tomato, really, probably. Justin Herbert. Man, look.
No.
I mean, well, I'm pointing the wrong way. I mean, obviously, I'm on the Justin Herbert bandwagon. Following that with Cousins, who's a very nice quarterback in this format.
Yes.
For sure. I must confess, I was kind of watching him. Gee, I think you were too.
Yes.
He didn't get around.
A lot of people have all gone, but yeah, you can't have everybody, can you?
No, you can't. Well, 14 quarterbacks went in the first 2 rounds.
Hey, if you did a league, where you could, like, we have the, what is it here? We have the super coach or whatever it is here for the AFL.
Yeah.
And they can play with a group of mates, and they can have the same player on multiple teams. I think it's all done on a salary cap type thing.
Correct.
I wonder if you did that with fantasy football, the NFL, what your teams would look like if you got 12 guys and say you can have whoever you want. You can have the same bloke on your team. It'd be interesting. You'd have to do it with a salary cap, obviously.
No, I think Dan Myler was doing a league that I saw advertised last year where there was a lot of that. You could trade anybody on higher ADP. So you could pick any team to start, and then you could trade your way across throughout the season. And it sounded very much like Supercoach. And I don't think he got it from there, but yeah.
I just wonder what 12 guys playing, or girls, what they'd look like. Like how close they'd be. Because I'm guessing a lot of people would have the same, but there'd be people out there that believe in other players,
Well, what you're describing is basically DFS.
Yep. Would would you guys take Justin Herbert over Mahomes most of the time, like this year?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
mate, I'd probably take. I'm a big Patty Mahomes fan, mate, but I'm
They're pretty
really liking
close.
Justin Herbert.
They're pretty
Yeah.
close. They're honestly pretty close. Like, I don't know.
Like,
I think it's a personal preference thing. If it was me at the 2 slot here, I probably would have picked Herbert. I think.
Yeah. You
And
would have
maybe
taken Mahomes before Tyreek Hill left, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, probably.
Because maybe that's the tiebreaker at the moment is the fact that KC offense is a little bit of an unknown.
Yeah.
We don't really know what it's going to look like. But Paddy's good enough to make anything work, we think. We just haven't seen it. It's like, Tom Brady could play with any scrubs.
Oh,
that had,
mate, I'm not going to say he's played with scrubs because they're all NFL players, but he's played with
with scrubs.
just decent NFL football players.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I shouldn't say scrubs.
Not superstars.
Geez.
And he's done it.
No, he has played with some superstars.
Oh,
to be fair,
I'm not saying he hasn't, but he's also played with with a group of guys who are just very good, But it helps when you have Gronk and a guy like he's had Edelman and Welker and these sort of guys in that sort of they're just target hogs that just get open.
Yeah. And so I don't think Paddy hasn't got the pedigree yet. He hasn't proven it yet, has he? Where Brady's got the runs on the board, like well and truly. He played years where he had, his wide receiver core on paper looked like a joke. And he made it work.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how Mahomes goes this year with what he has.
Well, I don't think what he has is bad.
Brady could do it with whoever they brought in.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting if Mahomes is capable of doing the same.
Yeah.
I heard last year that halfway through last year, Mahomes had Mahomes. Sorry, I think he'd had a really high percentage of turnover-worthy plays that went for turnovers. like it was almost, it was I think above 50% in the first 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah,
and so everybody was like, "Oh, this is not very good quarterback play," and then he came a lot better.
So there'd be guys throwing passes that should be intercepted and should be turned over, but the corners drop the ball or something happens, and and Mahomes just had a spell where they made hay on everything that wasn't a good throw.
And he looked bad.
Hands, always his fault. Through the wide receiver's hands, you see that a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Let me wrap this up and then I'll go to Neil because Neil drafted Mahomes, so it might be a little bit more relevant. But anyway, Phoenix Rocket, he got Kyle Pitts. It's only the 4th. We only had 4 tight ends drafted. So Kyle Pitts is currently the last drafted tight end on our board. And Aaron Jones, which is a great pickup, the 402.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Jones could have an amazing year.
Oh, maybe he could catch freaking 90 balls.
Yeah, I know. So that's a very, very solid squad. Phoenix.
So who are the 4 that have been taken? Like Kelsey, Waller,
Kelsey,
Andrews, I take it, and
Andrews, yeah.
And
I was thinking, who's the 4th?
And Pitts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Now this is Neil's. So he went with Mahomes at the 103. We had 5 straight quarterbacks taken. So this is the 3rd one from the 103. And then he took Derek Carr. Again, Derek Carr's a very good quarterback in this format. Pretty accurate. That's a nice start. Yeah. And then Breece Hall. I mean, a little early for me.
Yeah, far too early for me. Yep.
I mean, before DeAndre Swift, before Barkley even. Actually, I mean, Neil took Barkley.
Yeah.
But
Mate,
I mean, as the RB9.
Before Aaron
Hang on,
Jones, who we just spoke about.
Yeah, let me go to the draft board. Hang on, where are we? So Neil, Breece Hall. So after we've only had Swift, Jones, and Barkley. We've only had Swift, Jones, and Barkley taken after. But I mean, look, I think Breece Hall will be good, but man, I wouldn't have taken him over Swift personally.
And he's got no track record, and he's on a lousy offense.
Just look at that. I go and take Matt Ryan, think shit, there's no quarterbacks, and then none go except Trey Lance, which surprised me as well. But yeah, I should have just said But then again, someone might have taken Matt Ryan if he wasn't there. But then again, no one's taken Ryan Tannehill, but he's got no one to throw to either anymore. Just going to hand the ball.
But you don't. Yes, you don't know. You don't know what the board's going to do. Do you? I mean, you really don't.
No.
Yeah.
It's unknown.
You try and guess.
Yep.
But yeah, I suppose I guessed wrong. But you know,
I don't think you guessed wrong. Matt Ryan, I think I think Matt Ryan is a good quarterback in this format.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was hoping.
I think so.
What was left?
He's never had an O-line before, and he's got a good coach.
Hey, mate, don't go dishing my Falcons, mate. Just don't go dishing the Falcons. I don't think they've had an O-line, mate, since I've been following them. So,
Ollie 25298. Ollie, you're much better than that 25297 guy. He was a jerk. Ollie 25298. You're much better. Joe Burrow, can't fault that. I mean, he's amazing. And Austin Eckler, geez, I would have loved to have had Eckler on my squad.
Yeah.
Good value. And I saw someone, I have a feeling someone will correct me or tell me he might have been like the number 2 or number 3 running back last year.
Yeah.
In Scott Fish scoring.
No, that's mate, 209, that's fantastic value. That's value. When you talk about value, that's value.
There's no doubt. Yes. Yeah. And Trey Lance.
That's saying something about this group of people doing the drafting, isn't it? That we let him go at 209?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's always going to be things happen because people, I mean, as I said, we had 14 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So players are going to drop, but I mean, that's absolute value. You got to snap up value if it's there. I don't mind the Trey Lance pick, because I think if Lance pops, right, this is what this format's all about, isn't it? This is what Scott Fish is all about. There's 3,000 people. If Trey Lance pops,
like you said, there's one winner and 2,999 losers.
Yeah. So I like that pick. I was actually thinking of Lance myself. I thought that's not a bad. There's a guy who could jump ADP a lot.
Yeah.
He's a guy who could jump into QB1.
That's fine. Yeah. But are you're not getting him? You're not getting value at ADP at 309, are you?
Well, some people.
It's not like you've got taken Trey Lance. He took him in the 8th round.
And if he's a top 10 quarterback, if he turns out to be a top 10 quarterback at UR,
he's got a lot of people to displace if he wants to be a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but
he's already I think he's quarterback 8 currently in ADP.
Is he?
Just because they think that
Dynasty ADP?
Yeah, for a guy that's played how many games of actual football has he played in the last 3? Would it be coming on 4 years now? 3 years?
Yeah, not a lot. No, he's got no track record, but he's been thought to be very good. And I think Scott Fishbowl, 309 would be quite a late place for him to be picked.
That's what I think too.
Interesting to see where he's going at the end of this, where he went overall.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a bad dice roll.
Like, I'm not having a go at all. Mate, like I said, you take who you want to play in your team, mate.
Of course. I can't fault it personally. And Deebo Samuel, I think, is a great pick at 404. Actually, that was the last player taken. That's where we're at the moment.
We're at, yeah.
We're at
Interesting to see
4-0.
what happens to Debo Samuel this year, with whether he does what he did last year, which is incredible. If he wants to keep playing that role.
See, if the role for him changes, and you got to remember this. He's got Trey Lance, right? You got to remember that Trey Lance changes that offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah.
What are we going to get?
And I heard.
Sorry, go on.
I heard they got Tyrion Davis to run 1-2, Mitchell run 3, and Trevor. So they've got four running backs. Like, I think the Tyrion Davis call was to try and not get Debo running through the tackle.
Yeah. So look, mate, Trey Lance could work out really well because after his first read, he's going to take off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, no, I'm not a Trey Lance truther at the moment. Yeah, it's just one of those, I'll believe it when I see it type deals.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to be wrong, obviously, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And in this format too, it's completions are a big thing for quarterbacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You lose a point per incompletion. One whole point.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, my eyes are like one whole point. This is Lauren's team at the moment. She's on the clock. So,
mate, you might be better off taking one quarterback with and then just never drafting another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Because in past years, I think we've had there were weeks with Baker Mayfield that whoever started him would have been in a negative.
And Justin Fields. Have you guys ever played indoor cricket?
Yes.
I really don't like it as a sport because I'm not very good at it, and I really like outdoor cricket. But you can come in as a batsman and your team's doing really well and drag them down to 0. It's so depressing.
Yeah. Mate, you just want to get out there with if you can put on. I always worked out when I played it. If you go in there and you can put on 40, which is not high, but as long as you're sort of around there, you haven't really hurt the team.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like minus.
So Lauren opened up with Lamar Jackson. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Followed with Mark Andrews, so she's got the stack there, which is kind of nice.
Start.
That's a solid start. And then Nick Chubb, which again is very, very solid. I'm interested to see what she does. She's on the clock now. I'm interested to see what she does at the 4:05. But again, well, like we were saying earlier, Pete, I don't know that we can sort of fault any team at the moment.
No.
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
There's so much talent left because we took all the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Just pushes everybody down.
It does. But yeah, another nice start. And, I think it's going to be interesting to see because at the moment it's not very obvious what people's strategy is. And we're going to see more of that as we go further.
Mine's just going to be all or nothing. I don't care if I take someone before their ADP. I couldn't care less. I don't care less. If I think they're going to be good and they're there, I'm just going to take them. So
I feel like I'm in a like an Oscars, when they show the actors on who's going to win the award. We've got G as Harrison Ford, and then
I washed my hair tonight, and when I wash my hair with shampoo and conditioner, it gets all fluffy, so I had to put a hat on.
And then
it was my daughter.
Peter's like the guy from the Blair Witch Project, just keeps going dark and moving around outside.
Yeah.
And then AJ's the Jonah Hill character from Moneyball.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Jonah Hill. In his early days, or?
How are you doing, boys? Anyway, good.
Yeah, good, man. Good. Not too bad at all. We're just dishing everybody's. Where's Ben's team? Put Ben's team up now that he's here. Let's.
Oh, I will in a second. Just reminded me. There's good teams. No, there's rich teams. How does it go? There's rich teams. There's poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of shit, and then there's us.
I think that
is such a good movie.
This should be the Aussie guys NFL sort of tagline, shouldn't it? Really?
There's good pods and there's bad pods. Then there's 50 feet.
And then there's Aussie guys.
No, boys, you did a great job with the podathon. I must admit, that was great.
I was disappointed because he did with the cities. It doesn't give you the opportunity to do what we've done in the past. It's sort of like, what do you do? I suppose Adrian could have dressed up as Sydney, like the Statue of Liberty or something like that. But mate, just going on location, seeing we're in Melbourne and we're in the Melbourne division, we might as well go and show people Melbourne. I thought what we could have done is put a GoPro and attached it to the front of the car and just drove around for half an hour.
Oh, you should have just done like Punt Road, Hoddle Street. You've just been sat anyway for the whole time. So.
Yeah, it would have been stuck in traffic. Welcome to Melbourne.
We could have scaled the entertainment centre, like that spire that all the protesters go up.
Oh. Yeah, if someone's got a spare 10 grand to give me for the to pay the fine.
Yeah. That seems a good idea.
Now, Josh is from the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Josh Merrifield. Hey, Josh, if you're watching. He broke the quarterback run in the first round with JT, and obviously JT was going in the first round. Was he I think apart from Mark Andrews, he might have been the number one. Well, so apart from Mark Andrews. So I think he was like the number 2 scoring player in SFB. He might have been the number 1. I might be talking out of my ass, but he was right up there, obviously. And then went straight back to quarterback, so got Stafford at the 207, which is fantastic. That's the QB 12. That's great value at QB 12, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get Stafford.
The operated on shoulder?
Yeah.
Was it shoulder? Worried. Elbow? What was it?
No, it's elbow, isn't it?
Is it elbow? Is it elbow?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried until I'm going to be worried.
I think the interesting thing with Stafford is when you look at the scoring, there's obviously the additional bonuses for first downs, right? So and last year leading the league, 89 receiving first downs, Cooper Kupp. So there you're looking at that, and you're looking at how many times he's going to be throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp, and you're just like, well, there's your value straight away. Like I was surprised actually that he dropped that far, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Are you talking up Matt Stafford, or are you talking up your pick of Cooper Kupp?
Well, seeing as though you've just presented a segue there, G. Well, that's a nice bit of work.
Well done, nice, very professional.
It's almost like you've done this before.
No, let's chuck it up. Let's just chuck up Ben's team.
All right, okay.
Let's carve it into as many little pieces
anyway,
as we can before we put it in the plastic bag and dump it in the river.
Anyway, Josh, a nice solid start there.
Yeah.
As I said, look, it's hard to criticize anyone's team, honestly, and I'm not.
Oh well, mate, we're in 4 rounds in.
I know.
To me, whenever
goodness, this team though, far out.
Whenever I do whenever you do a draft,
are we missing a quarterback?
Round 8.
Are we missing a quarterback somewhere? Did I draft? No.
Yeah, I can't see any quarterback there at all.
That's scary.
There's a potential quarterback.
So you went wide receiver, which is brave for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to deny Cooper Kupp though. I mean, honestly, the guy is going to be a points machine again. I don't think, barring injury, he's going to do it. There's no doubt. So there's nothing wrong with that pick. And Justin Jefferson, likewise. It's just, I think wide receivers though, I feel a little bit. I mean, wide receivers considerably deeper than every other position.
Yeah, the only so my thinking here, and it's all to do with that third round reversal, right? Like, so that's where I kind of had to make a decision, because if I'd have taken a quarterback at the 202, anything that comes to me at the 302 in terms of another quarterback is probably going to be pretty average anyway. So I felt like by loading up on a couple of prime positions, I thought, oh, well, that then, I know that there's going to be a serviceable starting quarterback for me at the start of the third round. And when I'm not particularly bothered about, picking at 11, you're not going to get what I would call one of the big three quarterbacks or someone who's going to really kill it, or even, to be honest, even have the potential to get to that level. They just don't exist. So what I didn't want to do is pick someone and let me just maybe I didn't want to pick someone like Matt Ryan as at that sort of two quarterbacks. So I didn't want to deal with who took Matt Ryan. I'm just looking.
I did.
Okay, listen,
No.
being
But that
devil's
was my
advocate,
thought.
though.
That was my thinking, though.
Mate, he's my anchor.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, being a devil's advocate, Ben, you could have taken Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
And then you could have, you would have missed out on Jamar Chase by one, but Jamar Chase was the wide receiver 4. Look, there's no wide receivers here in the whole of the second round. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Devontae Adams.
There's Adams.
No, he was before JJ. Look.
Yeah.
Adams
you mean after Ben though?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you could have, worst case, say Stephon Diggs or CeeDee Lamb or someone, because Jamar Chase would probably still go there, say. So I'm not, actually, I am kind of, you never know how the board's going to play out. I understand that, but it's just amazing to see that like Jamar Chase is like here a full round away. But who would you prefer out of JJ and Jamar Chase? It's pretty close.
I would have taken, if Chase was there, I would have taken him instead of Matt Ryan. And I actually thought about Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon sort of as my picks. And I thought, like I said before, I just took him because I thought, shit, if people start kicking quarterbacks, I'm just going to be stuck with, I don't know, Jameis Winston, just turnover machine. I might as well not start him. Why even have him?
No, it's risky.
He's not a turnover machine anymore. He can see.
Look, a pick like that is risky. There's no doubt.
So how long has Lauren still got? She must be close.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, I don't know.
But the interesting thing is I thought I was the only one who might be in this predicament. But Chris, who picks just before me next, I believe, who had the 12 pick, he picks double right after me next. So he's sandwiched between my next two picks. He actually hasn't got a quarterback yet. So that's an interesting one. I was surprised he went Jamar Chase, and maybe he went Chase because he was still there, I guess.
Maybe.
But I certainly wouldn't want to be having to pick my starting quarterback next. Although, with Tua, the other thing about is the reason I went with Tua was, I'm giving away a strategy here, but if anybody's going to be drafting Teddy Bridgewater, it's going to be me, right? I don't think anyone else is probably going to do it. So
you might have to.
Well, but that's the thing, right? So I'm at least backed up, hopefully, where I get him as well. So I'm not having to worry. And I think, they're not quarterbacks that are going to throw a huge amount of completions, which I know goes against the scoring. But Tua is actually pretty good with his legs. And I think that Mike McDaniel will think about that as well. Because, Miami, who knows what their rushing attack is right now? It's an absolute minefield. But I think they're going to run with him. And really, to get me into the playoffs, I'm pretty confident that Tua is going to have a good at least 3 quarters of the season.
But I like that pick though, because like the Trey Lance pick, he's got a lot of room to improve his ADP. That's what you're banking on. Obviously, if Tua sucks, then forget it. But if he pops, then happy days. You got him at QB 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of ADP jump you need to succeed in a tournament like this. You need players deep on much deeper on your board really than rounds 3 and 4, granted, but you need players deep on your board to make jumps in ADP.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Matt's up. And he went quarterback. So after the JT pick, he went to Kyler Murray, which is also a great pick. And then backed it up with Dax. That's a pretty good combo there. That's a pretty good one too.
Yep.
And Mixon, again, yet to have his 4th pick, but a nice start for sure.
You could actually see a better year out of Joe Mixon than we saw in his 5th year breakout last year.
No, he hasn't been playing that many years, has he? 4th year breakout? I
think he has.
Yeah, it was his 5th year option, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last year was his 5th year.
They've improved the O line, mate.
Yeah.
Easily be better than he was last year.
Yeah.
You know, especially with that receiving core, you know, like, mate, you got to be paying attention. You're not sneaking guys up onto the line that often, are you? Really?
No.
You're not really filling the box.
No.
With a stack of bodies.
No.
You know,
yeah, true. I love the mix
what Jamar Chase did last year, and you know, can have people.
Yeah, I would have loved. Oh well, I was going to say I would have loved Mixon on my squad, but Frank, I actually took a different running back just before. I took the RB6, so I can't really complain. But I'd like to have Mixon as well. As well as mine.
You could argue that
I've seen a couple of teams that just went 3 running backs straight off, and they're really wow, like you miss out on a lot of other things, but it'd be really good.
Oh yeah, it's solid. Running back obviously, as we know, falls off the cliff. But anyway, I won't talk about mine. You can rip it apart.
Kelsey's good. Tom Brady's going to be great in this format, and 2.3 yards of carry, Najee Harris. You know, if he gets the volume, he'll be fine.
He will get the volume.
Okay.
He'll get all the volume.
I would argue that all the volume guys have gone now. I would say at running back, wouldn't you say?
We just had Barkley go as the RB12. You're probably right. I don't know who's next on the ADP. Hang on, let me have a look.
No, there's a couple. There's a Broncos guy that's pretty good, but don't pick him between now and my pick.
You shut up, Peter.
He's not what I would call a feature back yet.
No.
But that could very easily become that guy.
But I wouldn't say this year it's going to happen fully.
How long has Lauren got? Oh, an hour.
So what do you do? I see Melvin Gordon still won what he did last year is just a pain in the ass, and that's what he's going to be again.
Yeah.
But if it goes from 50-50 to...
Oh, there's a few there. There's a few.
40 or, you know...
You've got Fournette.
Yep, I think there's a couple.
Montgomery's there. Kamara's there. Zeke's there. James Conner. Cam Akers, depending on how you feel about Cam Akers.
Yeah, but these guys are... What I'm saying is volume, like as in like they're going to be more of a workhorse back, like.
Oh yeah.
You know, like a lot of those guys there, you're talking, you know, Connor was massively skewed with touchdown. I mean, he had 5 or 6 touchdowns from in the 1 yard line, which is great, but you can't bank on that for this year.
Yeah, and you can't. I don't think has he ever played a full season. I don't think he's ever played a full season.
No, Fournette as well. Like arguably, I would say is probably the one that I would say, yep, he's probably gonna get it because they haven't really. I mean, they've drafted a couple of guys, but no one significant. But Akers, look, I mean,
I didn't think cruise ships, Ben, were have cruise ships back on and about.
Cruise ships, yeah.
People cruising again.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Fournette's been on a cruise ship, mate, because they have those buffets that are open 24 hours a day. And he had looked like maybe done a couple of Bahama trips, I reckon.
I was reading something today about a guy, and the team was sponsored by Nutella, and they sent them like 5 kilograms of Nutella every season.
Wow.
And this guy was just like, I just ate it all and put on like. It was a good article actually. I'll try
during the season, it probably doesn't make a difference because you're training so much. Mate, those sort of guys will just burn off 5 kilos and no problems. But if you're sitting at home and it's a bit of your downtime, you're still eating the jar every week, then you've got a problem, I reckon.
I think the Jets tackle Becton. I think he's come back not looking in very good shape, and I think
they didn't need that.
He's like a first round pick. I think they were already writing him off last year after 1 year, and I think he's just not putting in much effort.
Here it is. It's an Italian footballer called Antonio Cassano, who played for Real Madrid at the same time as they had Beckham and all the Galacticos. So he said today, Nutella was one of the club sponsors, and each month they'd give us 5 kilograms. I gained 14 kilos. I ate Nutella directly from the jar, and I couldn't care about anything. So that might be Leonard Fournette, mate. You might be, or maybe stuck on the one that's currently everyone's got COVID in. Where is it, in Brisbane or somewhere? There's like 200 people.
Oh yeah.
Cruise ship. Yeah, he's probably on that. Just feeding away.
Oh man. G.
Yes.
Before you go on, the other one who, funnily enough, potentially could be a volume guy, and it seems crazy to say this, is Travis Etienne, because James Robinson looks like he's really struggling with is it the ankle?
I don't think he's back for a while.
Achilles,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but who else do they
have? Connor Snoop.
Yes. So point made.
I'm still waiting for an answer.
Is he an every down back though?
Etienne.
Hmm.
Will it matter?
Well, he's pretty compact. He's pretty well put together, dude. He's not a small bloke.
True. Although the guy who had a few decent games at the end of last year was Raquel Armstead. He actually looked pretty handy when he had to play.
Look. Just get everything from Jacksonville last year, screw it up in a ball and throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about anything. You can't make any statement about Jacksonville at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he made T-Law. I mean, T-Law has got to share some of the blame, but Urban made T-Law look terrible. Well, I can't say Urban made T-Law look terrible. The whole thing was awful.
And to make your rookie quarterback the only adult in the room is a really bad look.
Yeah.
Yes.
So currently Lawrence is the next QB up. I think.
Yes.
Is he ADP?
Yes.
Now, arguably 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's going before Tannehill, is he? In ADP, Ben.
Yeah, 4 of the 5
well, you can understand that now the Brown's gone.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, really, would you, if you had to pick a QB right now, would you pick Lawrence over Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Ryan Tannehill, and arguably Jared Goff?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd pick him.
Not redraft. Not redraft, I wouldn't. No.
I think I would.
Yeah, I think I would too, Pete.
I would pick him over Tannehill. I'd pick him over the last one, Goff. I
can't make my eyebrows go big enough.
Well, also Goff is a great quarterback.
I know.
No one's drafted him yet, but.
I know when you were doing you're watching all the 40-minute games last year. Did you just skip the Jacksonville ones? Because he just.
Look at the environment. We just spoke about the environment in which his first season was in. And, mate, it's not like there were throws and in games, and there was a few of them at times in one game, and I just go, mate, it's not college, dude. You know, like there's a difference. The guys you were throwing to were far better than the corners they were playing against.
Yeah.
This is the NFL. Those corners are just as good as the wide receiver you throw on the ball to. You know, there was times that, mate, but I like the fact that he still did it. He still threw down the field. He still threw it to and trusted his wide receiver, which is probably not the best because of the wide receivers they had in Jacksonville outside of Jones.
Oh, look, he would make 2 or 3 throws every game.
That were bad.
No. That you'd just be like, oh wow.
This is
why he's a number one pick. But
yes.
but he also has, in my mind, absolutely no, like that was a waste of a year for him, pretty much.
Oh yeah, complete.
So
complete.
Like what is he? What? How can you say? You know, yeah.
Well, it's not a complete waste of a year because he played NFL football, so he got to play. You know what I mean? It's a waste of a year in a lot of aspects because of what he wasn't taught. But he was on a field. He saw stuff that, you know, if he sat down and let somebody else be the quarterback last year, he wouldn't have been exposed to. So it's not a total waste, but it is. I know what you're saying.
Like, you know, you look at the year Mac Jones had. Look at the year, you know, even Justin Fields, I would say, developed more than he did last year. You know, it's kind of one of those things where
I'm going to get going.
All right,
okay, Pete.
See you, Pete.
We'll see you online anyway, and
not far behind you, to be honest.
We'll chat soon.
Yeah. So you're going to put my team back up?
Yep.
Which is, thank you.
There you go. So CMC is a great pick, and I must confess that I was tossing between Kelsey and CMC.
When you said CMC there, my knee tweaked. It was weird, isn't it?
Well, mate, like you look at what he does when he's playing. It's like, mate, no one comes close.
All right, let me just Google when he last played.
I think he's like 6 points better per game than the next guy when he's on the park.
Christian McCaffrey last play football.
But they haven't been like, oh my God, he's done an ACL. He hasn't done an ACL, has he?
Probably in there somewhere.
When was the last time he did? When was the last time he did that? G? Are we talking 2018 at this stage?
No, yeah, but it's only been the last 2 years. And look, I've drafted in the last 2 years in the Scott Fish Bowl as well. So I'm going to third time's the charm, hopefully.
Oh, man. He is.
Are they the trophies? Are they the trophies on the shelf at the back there? Are they, G, after that pick?
No.
Yeah, look at them all.
No trophy.
Man.
That's okay. I'm always competitive. I'm not in it to win it. I'm just here to make money.
And Jalen Hurts
to make money.
Funnily enough, it just surprised me that he actually played in 7 games last year. I wouldn't have even thought that he played in 7 games last year, but he did.
7 games. What was he scoring? Like 100, almost 170 points?
I don't know what he scored.
Something like that. I think he's like average like 26 points a game. Like, mate, I'll take the chance that these injuries that you have been. They're all just hopefully fingers crossed bad luck type. You know, they're not like major things, so you can get over it. And maybe even having Baker Mayfield as his quarterback now it has to be a bit of a positive, doesn't it? Compared to Sam Darnold, for God's sake.
Of course.
Yeah, so that helps him out. So I just got to start. I just took him. I thought, mate, at 109, what he can do when he's playing, I'll risk it again.
Yep.
On him this year.
And Hurts is that's a great pick. I wouldn't pick him in Dynasty.
Who?
Hurts.
No, I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts. But I actually got in one of our leagues last year. I got stuck with him because we let the computer generate our picks.
Yes.
But that was cool. That's good. So you didn't know what you're going to get. I ended up with Jalen Hurts. When I opened up, I said, are you kidding? Mate, he was fantastic for the better part of the season.
Yeah,
I think
he
died
was.
off. He died a bit off at the end, especially when playoffs came around.
And was that the one? Was that the one league you won as well, G? Was that?
I don't know. Did I? I don't think I won the redraft league. AJ, did I?
No, I don't think you did.
No, but I was doing really well until and he was really helping me out. So I thought, well, I'll give him another go with the offense they've got this year, and added AJ Brown, and he can run, like you said, Ben. He can move.
Yep.
And then I just took Matt Ryan because I've spoke already about Matt Ryan, why I took him.
Yeah, no, I like it.
He's a safe pick, and I didn't want to get stuck holding the bag with someone that I'm disappointed about putting in my lineup every week.
And okay, we spoke about Pete's and yours, Ben. Why don't we go to the last one, which is Chris, who's picking at the turn, who doesn't have a quarterback, who we were speaking about before. Well, we're sort of judging the pie, and you're only just putting it in the oven, Chris. So we shouldn't say anything until it comes out of the oven and we have a chance to eat it and have a nice glass of wine with it. Because at the moment, I'm not so sure. But, I mean, there's no doubting the quality of the players.
Oh, no.
I mean,
but the lack of a QB is like we spoke about with the way it's scored. Yeah, is you might be having to start. You might say, I'm only going to start one for the whole year. Well, that's great. Sure. But you might be starting the guy that gives you
negatives.
Well, he could give you negatives, but mate, if he's giving you 10 because he's turned the ball over, really, is that what you want?
Well, no, it's not.
It is the one position, though, isn't it, in SFB that is boom or bust, pretty much, like for half the league. Like half of the QBs, are generally maybe scoring single digits in SFB a week.
Any of them can get negatives. When you look at even the top quarterbacks, you click through and look at their scores last year in SFB scoring.
There's a few in there.
Almost every one of them has got a dud week in there.
Yeah.
And you think, you
don't want having a dud week, but you don't need them to start compiling and then
like every second week is a dud week.
Because what happens then is you start picking guys and you go, okay, but you're detracting from the good players that you went and picked earlier because you're having to start a guy who's detrimental to your team. I'd rather go and get a quarterback that I can, even if you got one, that you can go and start and you can guarantee that he's going to be useful on nearly most occasions, and maybe pick a lesser guy that's a little bit under one of the top guys you picked that's going to, in the end, the score is going to be higher than, with the two half decent guys than the champion and a complete dud.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
If that made sense.
Yes. So look, a nice 3 players for sure. Henry, Adams, and Chase. We might have to see how you go with this, Chris, because interesting. Wondering how you're going to do it with
the videos of Derrick Henry working out. Like, I know everybody works out hard, but mate, I'm not betting against the dude.
He had hat hair, Campy. He came out of the shower. I've never had shower hair. I don't know what that's like. I must confess, shower hair.
Thank my daughter for the hat.
And that's it. So that we've gone through the whole draft board. But I thought that might just be interesting. I thought we might see some picks drop actually while we were on, but nothing's happened. So we might just have to
Lauren
wait
must be getting pretty close to the expiry date, as I was this morning. But I thought I'm not going to win the Scott Fish Bowl, and I probably won't even win this in our division, but I'm definitely going to win the longest amount of time taken per pick. I'm going to win something. So I'm going to win it and piss off another 11 people.
See, the trouble is, so if Lauren drops her pick and then Josh, who's in the US, drops his, then we've got Matt Flowers, myself, you, Greg, and then
Ben.
and then Pete, and then Ben, all in a row. So 5
here.
Aussies in a row. So Matt might be in danger of timing out.
Matt's done a pre-draft.
Oh, has he?
So he has.
So then it's
yeah.
on me.
So
Damn.
before we go, because we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
For what's your favourite pick so far, and what's your worst one?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
Ben,
it doesn't have to be my pick, right?
no, it can. But mate, if you think you've had a great pick, or knock it out.
I actually do love the Joey Burrow pick at 4 from Oliver.
Ooh.
I think if anybody is gonna, reach that top tier QB level of the the 3 that go, I think it could be Burrow. I even think that last year, coming off the ACL and stuff was phenomenal. But I mean, even healthier, like he's got good legs, so he can run. We might see a bit more of that as well, particularly when we just talked about how there's no other rusher there really apart from Mixon, right? So he could be a little bit more of a factor around the goal line, and we talked about the receivers, right? Like they don't drop passes, so completions wise, he's gonna love it. So that was my favorite pick. That because I would have probably done that if I was at 4 as well. And then my worst pick. Sorry, nothing personal, but I think Saquon Barkley is washed, and I don't see, a 4th rounder, cute running back 12. But we just talked about some of the guys there that you were saying, for Barkley to go before. Look, I know Kamara's obviously got the suspension looming, but even to go before Zeke.
But Zeke hasn't looked great.
Zeke looked good at the start of the season, and then he got a little bit banged up. And
yeah, well,
I think at this point in his career, Zeke has to be at least 90%.
Yeah,
to look good.
I mean, and I'm not.
Barkley in the 4th. Barkley in the 4th doesn't feel bad though.
No,
I don't know.
I didn't mind it, to be honest.
But you've still got. He could have taken Tyreek Hill. He could have taken, Javonte Williams, we just talked about. He could have taken one of the guys, in Tampa Bay, like Evans. It just seems to me like, yeah, I know there's a drop off at running back, but a little bit early for a guy who, has he scored any fantasy points the last 3 years?
Doesn't mean he's not going to score them this year, though, mate.
That's true.
There's always a devil, isn't there? The other side.
There is. AJ, who
your team? He usually looks like you, G.
Well, you know what? I love the Aaron Jones pick at RB11.
Yeah, I love I do like the Aaron Jones.
In the 4th. So to get Aaron Jones in the 4th round is amazing. And I'm sorry, after defending you, Neil, for Saquon Barkley, I'm going to have a go at you over Breece Hall. I reckon that's my least favorite, because RB9 feels high for Breece Hall. Ahead of Swift. I wouldn't have picked him ahead of Swift.
I don't know what his ADP is, AJ, like on Fantasy Pros, but I don't know
true.
9. And then, mate, you're drafting him there at his ceiling, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And look, it might be egg on our face, but it could equally be, he has to play his best game. Everything, all the cards have to absolutely come up at all aces.
Yep.
Which is exactly what you said when you said drafting him at his ceiling. That's completely redundant. But yeah, Breece Hall, I think, my least favorite. Aaron Jones is my favorite pick. But it's hard to fault many picks at all, to be honest.
I'm just having a look at Fantasy Pros now, ADP.
Oh yeah,
where he goes, and he is, as I keep scrolling down, 21.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
RB 21.
But hey, we've been preaching draft you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
Fine. Just don't do it in the third round.
Happy about not grabbing a rookie that hasn't played in the NFL yet. Then at least someone who's played at least 1 year, and we've seen.
Yeah, maybe
something.
draft your guys in the 8th round.
Yes.
In the 3rd round, don't mess around. Well, I'm just
so my two, so we can wrap this up, would be. I spoke to this when Pete was on. The Aaron Rodgers at QB7. I don't know. Like I said, I'd rather take Russell Wilson. I'd probably take
Dak.
I'd rather take Tom Brady, to be honest.
Yep.
Dak, yeah, a bit like that. But those two, I could have taken Tom Brady, but we spoke about that, didn't we, AJ?
Yep.
And I was thinking about Tom Brady, and I thought, I'd rather just fly by the seat of my pants and take Hurts and see what happens. So
I was ready because I was following you there.
Yeah.
And if you'd taken Brady, I was taking Dak.
Oh, okay.
And Dak went immediately after me. So
yeah. So, and my favourite pick, I reckon, Austin Eckler at the end of the second.
If he was at the end of the second, but he wasn't. He was at.
Yeah, it is. Well, mate,
No.
he's in the second half. He's only, what is he?
209.
209. That's not too bad.
Okay.
But yeah, Aaron Jones. I like when you said it, AJ. I reckon Aaron Jones, at that spot, with how much ball he could catch this year.
Oh, yeah.
Could lead the Green Bay Packers in catches.
Yep.
So
for sure.
Very easily. So all good.
All good. Well, that was just an informal. I thought it might be fun just to sort of talk through.
I just thought we'd just have a chat. I didn't know we're talking about this. That's why I came on and started talking about Monty Python.
Oh, hey, Ben, I'm loving the terminal list. It's a bit brutal, though. But, yeah, terminal list is good.
Well, I think my exact words were good but brutal.
I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, so it is. So that's what I'm going to go and watch an episode of the terminal list, and then I'll see if I'm on the clock, which hopefully I am.
Go to bed, so some of us actually work tomorrow, AJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought somebody's going to have to keep the economy going, G, right?
Yeah, but why AJ's doing his next term and you're at work? In 7 weeks' time, I'm off to Spain.
Oh, 7 weeks.
Yeah, in 7 weeks. Yeah.
Are you serious? In 7 weeks?
As long as my passport comes through.
Hey, wow, that's awesome.
I've had to put it on the fast boat because I looked at it today when I booked my ticket, going, I don't have 6 months by the time I get back. So
yeah.
So I just put on my extra $208 or something, or $240 or something like that. But
for the express version,
you need one to travel. So.
Oh, I hear that.
Express. Yeah. So anyway, so there you go. So
all right. Do you reckon, right? And maybe you should try this, G. Your passport, it has an expiry date, yeah?
Yeah.
So when they say you have to have at least 6 months on it, that's a crock, right? It's got an expiry date. It's valid.
Yeah, I don't understand how it works, mate. I really don't. I don't.
Legally, they wouldn't have a foot to stand on. Like, your passport's valid. That is just a complete crock, I reckon.
Yeah, so really,
you got to make money somehow.
Yeah, you got to make money somehow. Yeah.
But whereabouts in Spain are you going, G?
I'll fly into Madrid and then catch the train where I usually go to my friends down in Malaga, which is on the Mediterranean.
Malaga's nice. Been there a few times.
It is nice. They live in a really nice village in the hills. And then when I get there, I'll decide, I'm there for 3 weeks. So I'll use that as a base and just catch the fast trains and go to Seville, a place called Toledo. And then on the way back before I leave, I'll spend 3 or 4 days in Madrid. So, and a lot of day trips. There's a few places I want to go where they filmed, the spaghetti westerns of Clint Eastwood. They did that in Spain. So there's a few day trips I want to make to. Okay, it's not exactly what it was, obviously, as it was when he filmed it, but still go to the location where it was shot. So a few things like that, and
nice.
A few other places, and it's a bit of relaxing.
Lovely.
So, be good. A bit of sun would be nice compared to what we get here.
Oh, yeah.
So get rid of this fake tan. Can't keep putting the fake tan on all the time.
All right. Well, good to chat, guys.
Yes.
We'll chat again soon. We'll let a few more rounds go through and we'll do it again.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll do this at the end and see how it all went.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
All right, then.
All right.
Chat
cool.
soon. See ya.
Right. See you guys.
Bye.